New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
Live from a secure concrete bunker somewhere in Ohio, New Thought Media Network presents Pastor Michael Mangus with Friday's Fireside Chat, spiritual conversation for today. Here he is from the secret radio room, surrounded by thousands of watts, Pastor Michael Mangus.
All right. Well, once again, good evening to everyone across the United States and around the world. It is time once again for another fun-filled throwback. And yes, it is guaranteed, always exciting edition of the Friday evening Fireside Chat here on your New Thought Media Network. Pastor Michael Mangus, now Reverend Michael Mangus, we'll tell you about that in a moment, broadcasting from the super secret radio room, surrounded by thousands of watts in the extremely secure concrete bunker that is so top secret, only one person. And that is my producer, Diego Reyes. Only he knows where the top secret concrete bunker is located. No one else, including the chief inspirational officer of the New Thought Media Network, Reverend Robert Brzezinski. He does not have a clue where the top secret bunker is located, and we are going to keep it that way. We have a great show for you tonight. Again, please feel free to interact with us by posting your comments below on Facebook. And also, all my shy people out there, I know you're out there, and you don't comment. Well, you can go ahead and write me an email, pastormichaelmangus@gmail.com. Well, the purpose of our Fireside Chat, as I tell you week after week, is to talk about contemporary issues in New Thought and also in the news from a spiritual perspective. And as I keep saying week after week, I want us all to have a new thought about what is going on in the world and our part in changing the world around so that it is a world that does work for everyone. So it is truly my honor to have on this evening a longtime friend and colleague from Cleveland, Ohio, the Reverend Sandra Bishop. Sandra has taught the Course in Miracles for many years. She also pastored a church up in Cleveland. Sandra and I will be speaking on how mainstream religion has messed us all up. Oh, I think we're going to have a good conversation on that. At our center in Akron, people would always ask, when is Sandra coming back to speak? So she's a marvelous speaker. Reverend Sandra Bishop will be our guest this evening here at maybe like 25 after the hour here on the Friday evening Fireside Chat. All right, so why am I using the term Reverend this evening? Well, finally, I passed my ministerial panels for Centers for Spiritual Living. So now it's Reverend Gina, Reverend Laura, and Reverend Michael. But I'll probably still use the pastor moniker because that's what Diego wants me to do. Diego's going, what are you talking about? Well, I have to bring you up in the conversation. Oh, Diego, I don't want you to be disappointed, okay? So I'm upfronting this. I have no COVID-19 stories this evening. I'm sorry to disappoint you, my friend. I know no COVID-19 stories. Okay. I just wanted to let you know up front. But we do have some news to talk about this evening. The House Select Committee investigating the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol voted to subpoena former President Donald Trump during Thursday's public hearing. The committee argued in its final hearing before the midterm election that Trump was directly involved in his bid to overturn the 2020 election, with the panel presenting new evidence that Trump knew that he had lost but had a plan to declare victory no matter what the election results. The panel also showed previously unseen footage of congressional leaders taking refuge amid the violence as the panel detailed Trump's inaction during the attack. The committee is now working to present a final report by the end of the year on whether to make any criminal referrals to the Justice Department. Please pray for our country. Please pray for unity. Please pray that out of this chaos, that we do have good things coming forth. I believe that. I believe no matter what the news says, that again, that good is coming out of this. So that's my prayer out of all of what's going on. Also in the news, the Parkland school shooter has avoided the death penalty after a jury recommended he be sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole, or the February 2018 massacre at Florida's Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School. A move that left some of the victims' families disappointed and angry. This jury failed our families today, said Fred Gutenberg, the father of 14-year-old victim Jamie Gutenberg, one of the 17 people killed in the shooting. The jury's recommendation on Thursday came after a months-long trial to decide the gunman's punishment. A judge is expected to issue the gunman's formal sentence on November the 1st. Victim and family members are expected to speak before the sentence is delivered on that day. So how do you feel about the life sentence of the Parkland shooter? Does killing someone for their killing make right the wrong? Or does making someone spend the rest of their lives in jail without parole sentence enough? When does the killing stop if you take the life of the killer? Does it really heal the wounds of the grieving families? And if the death penalty was such a deterrent, why do people still kill one another? Just some questions for you to ponder this evening. What would love do? What would love do? Also in the news, 5 people, including an off-duty police officer, were killed, and at least 2 others were wounded in a shooting on Thursday evening in Raleigh, North Carolina. The shooting unfolded around 5 p.m. in the neighborhood of Hedingham, and an hour-long ordeal ensued as authorities worked to apprehend the suspect. The suspected shooter, a minor, how did he get a hold of a gun? Was taken into custody 4.5 hours later. Governor Roy Cooper said, "Tonight, terror has reached our doorstep. The nightmare of every community has come to Raleigh." And this senseless, horrific, and infuriating act of violence has been committed. And from the gun violence archive, there have been 531 mass shootings this year in the United States. I have another question to ask you here. Can we finally talk about some common sense gun control in this country by first banning all assault-type weapons. We have more gun violence in this country than any other because of our so-called Second Amendment rights. Okay, if you would like to bear arms under your Second Amendment rights, then I think that you should have a single-shot musket, because that's what they had during the Revolutionary War. Isn't that right, Diego? That's all they had. So we do have gun control in this country. You just can't go out and buy a handheld missile launcher, nor can you buy a military-style machine gun. And we also need a common sense spiritual awakening that takes away the need to shoot another, because we realize our oneness. And this next story hit kind of close to home here. Very sad, since yours truly just got out of formal ministerial training. Victim killed in shooting near UC Berkeley campus was a seminary student from San Diego. This is from CBS News. It says the Berkeley Seminary School, where the young man who died on last weekend's fatal shooting on Telegraph Avenue, where he was studying, announced a vigil was being held for the victim in San Lorenzo on Thursday evening. A press release issued by the Pacific School of Religion said that the man who had died, identified by authorities earlier this week as 29-year-old Ismail Mustafa, was a student at the school's Master of Divinity program. He began his studies at the school in the spring of 2020 on a presidential scholarship, school officials said. From their president, PSR President Reverend David Vasquez Levy, he said this. He says, Eli, that was his short name, embodied everything our PSR families holds dear. He was a person of deep personal faith and was a leader and mentor in his community with a desire to create a world where all can thrive. Today and in the days to come, our prayers go out to the Mustafa family. No parent should have to suffer the loss of a child, and certainly not the gun violence. I echo that sentiment. And let's understand also that PSR is also not only a think tank, but also a very progressive Christian school that again incorporates all religious traditions and beliefs. When one comes to see that there's only one, and recognizing and realizing that they are one in it, the desire to take another individual's life goes away. And that's why our philosophy of New Thought is so important, so that people can come to their own light. And common sense gun legislation is still needed to stop the carnage in our cities and also our towns. One more story here. Hurricane Ian cleanup is still going on in Florida with an estimated, are you sitting down? $40 to $70 billion of damage. Wow. And one of our sister communities, CSL Cape Coral, was hit very hard with property damage and many of their members affected. We have just received word that power is back on in the building after 10 days. And that they are having service this Sunday at their building with a potluck supper afterwards. Their website is below, cslcapecoral.org. Could we not only send our love and prayers, but could we also help this community rebuild? We also send them money. You can earmark your gift for hurricane relief or just give so that you can help others. That's cslcapecoral.org. I think I broke a land speed record, Diego. 16 minutes and 40 seconds. I'll tell you, I just, one of my friends, John Coriel, who's a practitioner down there, longtime friend. I know, again, he's doing well down there. But again, if we could send some monetary love to them, that would be greatly appreciated. CSLCapeCoral.org. All right, in just a few moments, the lovely and talented, the Reverend Sandra Bishop, all the way from Cleveland, Ohio, will be with us. I know that you will enjoy our topic this evening on how mainstream religion has messed everything up. I think it's a very pertinent topic for today. Let's have some announcements, and then we'll do a break, and then we'll be back with Sandra. Yours truly is still parking himself at Summit CSL. So for more information, please go to summitcsl.org. There and only there, you will find information about our wonderful Sunday gathering online at 10:30 Eastern Time, 7:30 Pacific Time. Yes, people do get up at 7:30 to see our live stream. So grab your cup of coffee, your tea, your espresso, whatever wakes you up in the morning, and please join us. I really do believe that we have one of the best services in New Thought because we have a balance of music, meditation, and message. And this Sunday, we will have our very own, who just passed his ministerial panels, Reverend Michael Mangus. Yes, thank you. And I'll be speaking this Sunday. So if you go on summitcsl.org, there you will get more information about our wonderful Sunday gathering and also our services simulcast also on our Facebook page. And also our Facebook page has also past broadcasts of the Fireside Chat and yours truly when he is praying on the New Thought Media Network. Please go on our website on ntmedia.org. There you will find all kinds of wonderful information about our ever-expanding schedule. Talk about a fall lineup. We have well over 40 hours per week of wonderful programming here on your New Thought Media Network. And you don't have to catch it live. You can go to our YouTube page. And again, we archive all of our programs there. And if you could, please go to our donate page. When you become a partner with us, you take this positive message to the world. So you get that good feeling of giving for giving. And then you also get the good feeling because you know that it's reaching lives around the world. We are expanding our Spanish programming. We are expanding our outreach to Kenya and also to Europe. And all of this takes place because, again, of your loving donations here. You're really making a difference in the world. So please, join me and others who donate on a monthly basis or give a very generous one-time gift. You're putting your money in a wonderful place because of all the good that we're doing here. Again, changing lives all around the world. ntmedia.org. All right. Time for a break. Sandra, if you can hear me, please get on your video. All right. So we're going to take a break and then we'll be right back. This is the Friday Evening Fireside Chat here on your New Thought Media Network.
Thought Radio, music from all your favorite New Thought artists. From Jamie Lula, Karen Drucker, Gary Lynn Floyd, Ricky Byers, Daniel Nahmod, Eddie Watkins Jr., and many, many more. 24/7 New Thought Radio. Positively inspiring.
The views and opinions expressed by Pastor Michael Mangus are generally right. However, they are his own and do not reflect the views and opinions of New Thought Media Network, Centers for Spiritual Living, or any other person living or dead. As they say in the 12-Step Recovery Program, take what you like and leave the rest. Here again is Pastor Michael.
I could go on all evening long about our guest this evening. Gosh, we've known each other for several years here.
Oh my.
A lot
That's
of
an
years.
understatement.
Reverend Sandra Bishop is my guest this evening. Sandra has a daily ministry called Sandra Says It every single day. She also has pastored a church up in Cleveland. We can talk to her about what is going on. Sandra, welcome to the Fireside Chat here on the New Thought Media Network. Who would think that we would ever have a network like this?
Yeah, who would think it? But of course, I mean, why not? I mean, it's awesome to have this network set up so that people can come and get this kind of juicy information and to have ways of transforming the way that they think. And so, yes, to that end, I do a show every single morning over Facebook Live called Morning Glory, because I find that people are searching for this type of information. So, yay, I'm glad you are here.
Well,
I'm
glad
having me on this Fireside Chat.
Oh, yeah, sometimes it gets hot in here. That's why we have that's why we have the fireplace always going here. Mm-hmm. So, Sandra, give us a little history on you, and how did a nice woman like you ever end up in New Thought?
Ooh, okay. So I will tell you, I was raised Baptist, and very, very, what do I want to say? From a very young age, I had questioned the things that I was learning. I would hear stories, not only biblical stories, but I couldn't reconcile how God is love with what I was reading, with what was unfolding before me. And so I had always had a certain level of skepticism about what it was that I was hearing. Anyway, fast forward to when I was in college, I had this opportunity to go and study overseas. And part of it was I went through, like many people, I went through this level of depression where I was so far away from home, so far away from anybody that looked like me, from a common language. I just felt like I was totally isolated. So I had this idea that I was going to read the Bible from cover to cover. And if I read the Bible from cover to cover, then somehow the curtains would open up and I'd be like Dorothy, like I'm no place like home, I guess. And from reading the Bible myself without somebody interpreting it for me, what I found was a beautiful love story. And I came away thinking like we've been bamboozled. So I had a religion on my own. And as I began to talk about it, when I came back to the States, somebody said, "Oh, you sound like one of those New Thought people." And I was like, "No, there's nobody else like me. Are you kidding?" And so I thought I needed to investigate. What are those New Thought people? Who are they? And I did. I found kindred spirits. So that's how I got here. Now, of course, I could tweak some of the stuff that they were teaching, but I stayed here in New Thought.
Yeah, I think we all could. And for me, I mean, I grew up Roman Catholic. And
I'm sorry.
You're sorry?
Yeah. I'm so sorry.
No. There's a lot of us in Science of Mind. I'm
so sorry. Yeah. Now that you found the truth, but it does a lot of damage before you get there.
Yes, and so when I really started studying the Bible, and when I really started, first of all, I grew up Roman Catholic. I was in the Charismatic Renewal in the 70s, so I grew up Roman Catholic Pentecostal, speaking in tongues and all that stuff.
Oh.
So what I had to do was, when I kind of fell out with the community and started looking for something else, I had to put the Bible aside, because every time that I picked the Bible up, it condemned me. So then I found a Unity Church in our neck of the woods, and I started hearing the minister on Sunday mornings really bring the Bible to life. And so now I can go ahead and I can listen to the Bible and then not get triggered like I used to. Now, the one thing is that I really do believe that we all have been bamboozled because of the people behind the pulpit. And the reason being is that they studied the Bible in seminary. Now, what happened is again, they took a scholarly study of the Bible, but they did not and do not share that from the pulpit. And the reason being is because it ticks off people's belief systems. What they're discovering about the Bible these days, again, and what they're discovering about Jesus today, again, had nothing to do with what happened back then. Again, if you read history, if you, they didn't declare Jesus divine until the 4th century. So we have a lot of Bible illiteracy in this country. So that's one of the reasons why. And let me share with you, I think, especially in CSLs, in Centers for Spiritual Living, they do not emphasize the Bible as much as, for example, like Unity churches do, or even UFBL churches. And the reason being is because a lot of times it triggers a lot of people because of the past beliefs, or the word Christian, or the word Jesus, or any of those words. And so for me, I still mention that, and I say, let's put another spin on this. How about the word God? For many years, again, from my Catholic upbringing, God was on the big white throne up there with a big long beard, and he was going to condemn me for all of my sins. And so,
you say that so easily. No, I say you say that comes out of your mouth so easily. And, one of the things that I think is something that is beautiful about New Thought is that it is not caught up in the condemnation. That once we get a different perspective about God, it is almost as if when we recognize that we are one with that which created us, when we come into that awareness, it takes away all of the condemnation, the guilt, the shame, all of those things, because as A Course in Miracles would say, I am as God created me. I remain as God created me. And so the things that we've been taught, though, have gone against, is the exact opposite of what the truth is. Yes. But here's one of the things that gets me, though, that one of the things that I try to explain to people is that the Bible is not God. And for so many, it will be so controversial for them to take that Bible, close it up, and sit it off to the side and look for God not in a book, but rather in themselves, to see it in the world all around them.
Well, let me take it one.
I'm sorry?
Let me take it one step deeper. How about Jesus?
Okay. But Jesus was just, Jesus was in the Bible too.
Yeah.
He was there, but he kept saying to us that the kingdom is at hand. He wasn't trying to make it seem like it, like it's only me. But that is the way that people have accepted it and received it, and they've placed it outside of themselves as something that they cannot attain for themselves. This, well, who are you to think that you are one with? Not only did they say that to Jesus, but then they turn around and say that to us. Absolutely. Well, in New Thought, we think that Jesus stands as an older brother, as a way shower, and not this, this only this way. So when we start to shift that perspective and know that we can also achieve this Christ consciousness,
yes,
right? When we start to shift our perspective, then we're no longer looking to somebody else to do something, but rather to the self and saying, well, what am I doing?
If you wondered what you stumbled onto this evening, hi. This is the Friday evening Fireside Chat here on the New Thought Media Network. I'm trying this on for this evening, Sandra, Reverend Michael Mangus.
Congratulations on that. That is so big, Reverend Michael Mangus.
Reverend Mike, yeah. Now, when I go into CSL churches, I don't have to cringe when they say Reverend. Have you been around sometimes when they've said Reverend to me, and then I get the stare from the ministers? Oh yes.
There was this amazing movie that I saw. I think it was called The Apostle with what is that guy's name? I can't even call his name right now. But I think the movie was called the Apostle. And one of the things that really got me about that movie was that he went out to the river and he baptized himself the water. He ordained himself.
That's
and
right.
So, I let the weak say I am strong. What do you speak out of your mouth? Let that be true. And so I'm not waiting for permission.
Amen.
Do what it is that you do.
I think that, and I had a friend of mine who was an independent New Thought minister in Anton, who for many, many years, he said, Michael, he says, why do you still stay in CSL? And I said, well, I stay in to awaken the ministers to their own magnificence. But no, it's just that I think that, my path into ministry has been, again, that it hasn't been that straight path. And again, looking at the leaders in this area, and especially in the Ohio region, a lot of our New Thought leaders here, again, did not go all the way into ministerial school or did not get ordained or did not do all the other stuff. They just started teaching. And so, and when people were starting to get upset with me in CSL, especially, I would say to myself, okay, what would I tell someone who came into my office? What would I tell them about people getting upset with them about shining their light? And I would say, you need to shine your light. You need to express what you're expressing. And that, again, have loving conversations with people on the back end about any kind of situation. So that's one of the reasons why I've stayed over the years. And again, it's, that's what I'm doing right now. And, who knows 6 months for a year from now, but yeah, it's been, but you know what? I think one of the great things that I've rediscovered over the past several years, again, is media. Again, that we can really reach the world through the internet. And also I'm personally taking a look at other ways of getting the message out there, including shortwave. That we have the opportunity now with the technology now to share our spiritual message to the world. And I was sharing with I did a wedding here earlier, and I was sharing with someone who is, he's the church janitor. He's the person that does all the fixing up in the church. And I was sharing with them, I said,
the minister too, isn't he?
What now?
He's called the minister too, isn't he?
Well, I think, if you prays with somebody, I guess, someone comes up and he says, well, let me pray for you or with you, But I was telling him, I said, we have today only 30% of the people attending church. That there has been this quote unquote falling away. And now we have people, again, 65 to 70% of the population now saying that they're spiritual, not religious. And that people are surprised about this falling away. Well, again, where have you been here? I mean, I have textbooks downstairs of futurists saying that we were shifting into a new paradigm and that the old structures that were there in religion, in education, in other things were falling to the wayside, and that we were coming up with new paradigms. Comment about that.
So again, Michael, I am one of those people that believes that I have the places where I encounter God has not been inside of the church walls. So I get that people fall away from religion as we know it. However, we go into churches and to places of worship to be in community, to be in congregation, to share, and perhaps to learn from those who are walking the walks that we desire to walk. So the fact that the ways in which we worship are changing doesn't necessarily mean that the world is going astray, but rather that we need to figure out the ways to meet people where they are. So if you go to Bedside Chapel, I get that. But when there is something that people are reaching for and looking for to be able to meet them where they reach is the thing. No longer our society has changed. We don't have to be in front of the TV Sundays at 8:00 to see a movie anymore, or at a particular time. Why should anybody, a lot of people feel this way, why should I have to be at church at Sunday morning at 10:00? Why can't church meet me where I am? So there are people who are developing churches without walls, or who are coming up with new models of getting this same information out without making people feel guilty about the choices that they are making. Because I think that is one of the things that from old religions and from the things that we've practiced in the past, we know that the guilt, the shame, the condemnation that people have experienced before, there is no place for that in what we're doing. There's no place for that. So I just think that we need to really try to embrace the difference, to embrace what the possibilities can be. And that's why this New Thought Media Network is so great, because it meets people where they are.
It was interesting when I was at International New Thought Alliance, and I still remember this. Here, we're all set up with our media stuff and computers and cameras and everything right in front of this minister, okay, who's up on the stage. And the minister goes ahead and says, I wish we could get this message out there more. And here we are right in front of them, clear as day, that yes, that there's other ways of doing it. And I think that the other things that are happening, Sandra, is with the whole idea of, what constitutes a community. Again, I used to be very much against doing anything online, including classes and services. And because, I like getting hugs on Sunday mornings. I like that. I like seeing people in that kind of community, and that what I've seen happen, especially with COVID, is that the handbook that we had to do ministry, that we were all taught at ministerial training, they took what happened was COVID took that book and put it to the shredder. So now it's all in my backyard. So now what's happening is that the whole idea of what is that the church is not the four walls, that again, that I'm a part of a wonderful community of people from across the country, also from Alaska and Canada, on Wednesday evenings, that we have a wonderful teacher by the name of Dr. Tom Sinar. We have a wonderful community there. So that whole idea of, and if someone's not there, people call and say, well, what is going on? So I think that this whole idea of community, I think, is being redefined. So
right.
Is there a role, though, for the brick and mortar church in the future?
So I will tell you, coming from a perspective that I have, Michael, when Reverend Michael.
Oh, hey, you. That's what my community calls me. Go ahead.
From way back in the 90s, I used to sit in a booth here in Cleveland and do a radio show that went out over the FM station. I sat in that booth by myself. There would be somebody that was on the other side of the glass that when somebody called in, they would put their name up so I can say, hey, welcome to the show. But I sat in a booth by myself and realized that while I may have had in my consciousness that I was only talking to 3 people, that literally hundreds, maybe thousands could tune in to me on any given night and listen to what it was that I was saying. The same thing when you do television. A lot of times you are there, just you and a camera, and you are doing whatever sharing it is. This idea of us sharing, of us projecting out into the atmosphere. When according to the Bible, God spoke into the atmosphere and said, let it be. And so this idea that I need to have evidence, or that I need to, to reach out and touch someone, I think from my estimation it has been highly overrated. I do the work. I do the work whether I am going into a brick and mortar church or whether I'm sitting here in my home, because the work is mine to do. This level of excitement, this love, this enthusiasm, that which flows through me, I get from sitting on my cushion. I get from meditating or being out in nature or connecting in different ways. I wait for God to speak to me. And that doesn't necessarily happen when I am around other people. But when I get around them, then I have to put that into practice. That's where the rubber meets the road. That's where we actually have to do some of the work that we learn about. But it's not the place that we get our inspiration all the time. For some, it is wonderful. For all of you who love to go to church and who want to go to church, I get it. I love hugs too. I love giving them. I love receiving them. I love that.
She is a world-class hugger.
Huh?
You're a world-class hugger.
Oh my gosh. I believe that there is an energy exchange that happens when you hug someone. But now, having said that, I also love just, not having to, rush in the mornings to get out of if I had to go into a location, I don't think that as a matter of fact, I know that I wouldn't be broadcasting every single day. It would be on occasion or something else. I get to do a radio show, a television show, whatever it is that I need to do. I get to do all of that from the comfort of my home. And that is an amazing thing. So yes, yes, let's connect. Yes, I love seeing people, but if I can reach more, if I can speak more, if I can do all of those things right here, I'm connecting with Michael Mangus in a secret bunker somewhere in the central Ohio.
Right.
I mean,
surrounded by thousands, and I mean thousands of watts.
Right. Wattage light bulbs, but I mean, it's amazing. It's so cool. Now, if I had to drive to Akron on a Friday night,
oh
my. So are brick and mortar churches gone for good? I don't think so. I don't think so. I think that there will always be those who will try to, to get people to come back into the fold, so to speak. Because there is that line of thinking that somehow that is the only place for people to find God.
Oh, and we know that that's not true.
Yeah, hopefully as we start to, really open up and dispel some of those myths, we will see that it's not the only way.
Well, hi there. Good evening to you here in our closing moments here. This is the Friday evening fireside chat here on the New Thought Media Network. Michael Mangus, along with this evening, my longtime friend, Sandra Bishop, who has her own. Tell us a little bit about your very unique ministry now.
Oh, so I will tell you, I am one of the most irreverent ministers you ever want to see, Michael.
She is, hold it. She's a sweetie. Don't let her fill you full of BS. She is one wonderful woman. I mean, and a great speaker. A lot of times down in Akron, when we had her speak, that people would say, "We haven't heard Sandra for a while. Why haven't you asked her?" So She can go ahead and say what she wants, but again, she's a wonderful woman. Go ahead.
Yes, I'm an amazing. Yeah, people love me. As a matter of fact, I've been told I'm one of the most requested speakers. I even get standing ovations at churches, which is what I'm like. Who does that? It's good. It's good. It's great. But when I say irreverent, I mean it in that I am not just there trying to get people in the amen section to say amen. If I don't challenge you or make you feel uncomfortable in some kind of way, I don't feel like I've taught you anything. Yeah. Because learning is uncomfortable. This idea of stretching and growing is uncomfortable. And so I need to make sure that I'm receiving so that I've got something to give. And if that means that sometimes it goes contrary to what we've learned, so be it. But I don't think that I've come to just be a people pleaser. I love in the Course in Miracles, there's a little line in there that says no people pleasing. And I try my best not to. So not only do I talk about religion and spirituality, I talk about sexuality, genderism. I talk about it across the board. And I don't leave any stone unturned. And I love it.
Yeah. So I'm from Master Control. They're saying, how can people contact Reverend Sandra?
Okay, so first off, I'm on Facebook at Sandra D. Bishop. My page is really wide open. I've got thousands of followers. You can follow me there. Hear the talks that I do. I'm just finishing up a book that I've done over this year that is called "It Didn't Start With You," about epigenetics. It was powerful. Wow. The whole conversation has been very powerful. So I'm on there daily. You can find me on YouTube. You can either search for Sandra D. Bishop or Sandra Said It. I'm Sandra Said It everywhere. My website is now currently being revamped, and it is sandrasaidit.com. So who said that? Sandra Said It. sandrasaidit.com. So whatever it is, I try to make sure that I'm Sandra Said It. So Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. I'm working on my TikTok page. I'm here, Sandra Said It at Gmail. Sandra Said It. Who said that? That's Sandra Said It.
So what time do you go live I'm
doing 8 o'clock. I was at it for the longest. I was at 7:30. And now that I've shifted to doing the show by myself, I am on at 8 a.m. And that's Monday through Saturday, 8 a.m. And then on Sunday, I am on at 1 p.m. to do my Sunday talk.
Wow. So do you still minister or pastor a church now, or what? Or you just have a group of people that meet with you in the community, or how's that working?
So Agape is now we're basically doing an online. I give a talk on Sundays, and the members that I have, I've got people who call in on a phone line and listen to me as I do my service over Facebook, and that is where we are now. When the pandemic started, our roof caved in on the building. We weren't there. It caved in. Yeah.
I didn't hear about this.
Yeah. Right over the sanctuary, there's, we had some water trouble before there. And I guess from not being there for so long, roof kind of caved in and we let the building go. And so, we were debating about whether or not to go into a new building, to take all that in. And so far, we have not opted to go back into a building. So, it's what it is.
Yeah, we haven't either down here in Akron.
Yeah.
We have not. We'd like to schedule something here, but again, that's in process. We can always go back to the place that we were at. We were meeting at the Masonic Hall here in Cuyahoga Falls.
Mm-hmm.
But again, that we're listening about. We have maybe 6-7 people on a Sunday morning, but again, it's a group of 6 to 7 people that meet every single week.
Mm-hmm.
That get nourished by, and again, that if someone's not there, they get the phone call and, like, we missed you. Is there anything wrong there? They could have gone out with their parents for breakfast, but still that, we really do care about individuals and people. So we only have a few minutes. We have less than 2 minutes left here. So Sandra, what is, peer into your crystal ball here, how is spirituality going to evolve here over the next 5 years?
How is it going to evolve over the next 5 years? I think spirituality is what it is. I think that for each and every individual, though, finding that entry point into it, it's my hope and my prayer that we take this thing from outside of us and recognize it right where we are, and through that see a blossoming. I don't, it's like asking me how God is going to evolve. It is what it is already, and it is. I think it's just beautiful when we have the freedom to explore and to have a different level of experience. That is so beautiful to me.
Reverend Sandra Bishop, again, thank you for being on. Boy, time flies when you're having fun, especially when you're on. Really, really love and appreciate you, my sister. Thank you for your love and appreciation of all the things that we've done down here.
Thank you.
Thanks for saying a good word sometimes when a good word needed to be said. Really, really love and appreciate you, Sandra. So come on some other time, okay?
I will.
Okay,
blessings
thank you.
Blessings to you all.
Okay, thank you so very much. All right, time for us to go here. Just a reminder again, go to ntmedia.org. There you'll find all kinds of information about our programs. Again, we're able to use this technology to reach the world. And so you get to be a part of that by going to ntmedia.org. Become a supporting member of the backup staff here. That you are the people that, again, are helping us take this to the whole wide world. ntmedia.org. And again, go on the donate page. On behalf of the beautiful Reverend Sandra Bishop, I'm Reverend Michael Mangus, wishing you a very pleasant good evening.
Thanks for joining us this evening for Friday's Fireside Chat with Pastor Michael Mangus. Join us again next week at 8 Eastern, 6 Mountain for more spiritual conversations for today. For more information and replays of past shows, please visit the New Thought Radio and Media Network's Facebook page. Until next week, may God bless you richly and abundantly.